Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 4 of our 30-day challenge. And in day 4, we're going to talk about a recurring theme. We talked about it in the previous challenge, but I know for me, it keeps showing up. And the beauty of this life is that we never really get to a point where we've mastered all of these skills. We still got to take refresher courses, just like when you become a medical doctor or you become any professional. It's advised in your career that you should, from time to time, remember. And for us, if you don't remember, then you forget. It's that simple. If you do not remember the rules, the laws, the practices, and you do this daily, by the way. And so for me, one of the things that came up is recognition of source. So today, day 4, we're going to talk about recognizing the source and what's not the source. Because so often we mistake what's in our account, our spouse, our husband, our wife, our friends, as the source of our happiness, as the source of our peace. And today, we're going to remember that God is our source. God is our source, our provider, which is why we call God Father. Most people, they say they trust God. They say they trust, what life is going to bring to them until they look at their life. They look at their current situation. They look at their bank account. And I want to tell you that when you look at all these things, it's not an accurate report of things, and it's not your source. So, for example, the bank account, all the bank account is telling you is where you've been. It has no bearing on where you can go. So if you look in your account and you see nothing today, that can literally change tomorrow. They can change today. If your peace, your anxiety goes up and down based on what you see on a screen, what does that say about who you've made as your source? God has called us to this abundant life. And when we allow life to really unfold and to take its course, that's when we allow space for miracles. Everything that's going on right now, if you are in a state of searching for a partner, a husband, a wife, expanding your business, looking for customers, and you don't see any, all those are past conditions. All those things can literally change today. And the source, the God within you, that's the source of your wisdom, your opportunities, your relationships, your ideas, and the favor, if you allow it, will continually flow in your life. And the challenge today is to stop looking for the reassurance. Stop telling God, I need to have this account. I need to have this money in my account. I need to go on a date. I need to have a customer call me. And especially with the money, because for me, the money is the one thing, the one area in life that keeps showing up for me. And I keep looking at the account and saying, oh my goodness, I have payroll in a few weeks. Am I going to be able to make it? And if you're challenged with this aspect, instead of asking how much do I have, I want you guys to ask a different question. What is available to me right now that I cannot see? And I want that to be your meditation, the question this morning. What is available? What is inside of me? What skills, what gifts, what opportunities, what resources has God put inside of me that I can't see? And a great example, like I said, is when you look into your account, your checking, whatever it is, and you see a small amount. That old self is tempted to say, oh my goodness, this is, it's not enough. But for this challenge, the allowing self is going to say, that's just the current snapshot. That's not the source of my future supply. and go back to doing what you were supposed to be doing, serving customers, making phone calls, improving whatever business you have, building those relationships, and acting on the opportunity. See, the difference is everything that you do now is based on inspired action. So we're not saying be passive. We're not saying don't do anything. And that's the difference. Is most people think the choice is between, do I take action or do nothing? But that's not really the choice. Rarely is that the choice. The real choice is usually, what type of action do I take? Is it going to be inspired action from God or fear-based action from within? Do I take the appropriate action, which is there's only one right decision, or do I act from compulsion and emotion? Because the Bible never really teaches, being passive. If you look at all the people that did big things, Noah built, Joseph kept the food for 7 years. They all did things. Nehemiah built walls. Jesus walked. He turned water into wine. He took action. And so it's not about acting today, but it's taking moves out of alignment. For example, if you look into your account and only see $1 and you've been moved to give thanks and multiply that by donating it, that's very different than saying, I got to go out here and start talking to more people, or based on fear. So there's some signs that you should take action. And I think when you see something clearly, when you keep getting that calm nudge to take action. Because life is putting something directly in front of you. If somebody needs coaching, if you need to call a customer, if a child needs attention, if a loved one needs attention, give them that attention because they're in front of you. When you're acting from fear, it's usually acting from a place of urgency, acting from a place when you feel the anxiety, like you're sending desperate emails, you're checking the bank account so many times. And that fear is going to be shouting, do something, do something, do something. But the wisdom says, do the next right thing. You have a slow month, fear is going to be shouting at you, lower your prices, start firing employees, panic, change the entire strategy. But trust says, hey, everything's going to be all right. This is what you do. Stay calm, continue marketing, review your numbers. And notice both people are acting, but one is acting from fear and one is acting from wisdom or faith. So if you have to take action before acting, ask, like we covered on our call, if I knew everything was going to work out, would I still take this action? And if I take this action, who wins? My fear or God? And if the answer is yes, then move forward. Would you still follow up with customers if you knew God had already provided? Probably yes. Because that's stewardship. That's how God uses you as a channel. You know that there's somebody out there that God wants you to reach, and so you're going to call as many people as possible to reach that person that has prayed for the answer. You might be the answer to their solution. Would you check your account every 15 minutes if you knew that this would work out? Probably not, because fear is always going to be seeking some type of reassurance. And if you look at Jesus, Jesus did something strange sometimes. When everybody else wanted like quick action, Jesus would stop. He would pray and he would withdraw. And then he'd wait a minute, then move. And I think the delay was very intentional because he was getting aligned. When Lazarus died, he didn't move immediately. That was a catastrophe. But he took his time. And when I want to imagine he prayed or meditated and got aligned. But we have to be comfortable with stillness because stillness exposes whether the action is truly necessary. And a simple rule is do everything that you're supposed to do. It's clearly yours to do. And don't do the things that are going to relieve your anxiety. And that's hard, okay? Because anxiety, when you do the things that relieve your anxiety, you're serving a lower God, the God of your emotions. And those are all going to be temporary. When you take action on things that actually serve the situation, that's stewardship. But action that serves your fear, that serves your anxiety, that's just resistance that's going to be disguised as productivity. You think you're doing something, but you're still resisting. And it's actually keeping you from experiencing the joy, the peace that comes with allowing. So for today, let's focus on understanding our source, understanding who is really in charge. And here's the thing, if you trust that it all works out, you're going to find out that life will unfold in such miraculous ways. And you'll see that your peace will stop being controlled by outside. Doesn't matter what the doctor report says. Doesn't matter what the deal or what happens with the deal. So today, let's focus on understanding our source.